Welcome to Always Analog, where we celebrate the beauty of analog technology in the digital world. A pencil review today, something new from our friends at Musgrave Pencil Company in Shelbyville, Tennessee, USA. And it is the Yellow Special. This is a new release of a vintage model that Musgrave used to make at one time. I don't know when they were making it, and I don't know when they stopped making it, but they're making it now. And you can order these directly from Musgrave. I just got these. I was a little disappointed because they are available in a 12-pack, a 72-pack, or a 144-pack. And the more you buy, the cheaper they are per pencil, which makes sense. However, if you get something besides the 12-pack, they ship it just like this, bulk, in a box. Okay? So this is the 72-pack, which I got. And part of the reason I got it, too, was the shipping price was actually the same, whether I was going to order a 12-pack or a 72-pack. And I'm like, well, I'll use the pencils, so I might as well get 72. And I wasn't thinking, I guess, sure, they wouldn't give me 6 boxes, separate boxes of 12. The value is in ordering it bulk like this. So I didn't get the packaging, but I've got images of the packaging which we'll take a look at, because that's always something that I think that's sort of interesting. And we'll get to reviewing the pencil. But so this is the pencil, and we'll come back and review it. But I've got a couple of images off of the Musgrave website of the package, which I didn't get, but we'll take a look at it sort of virtually, I guess. So here's the front of the package. This is off the Musgrave website, and you can see it's in a really bright yellow box. And I love how it has a sort of die-cut opening there with a diagonal that goes from top to bottom with an image of the pencil going through it. I really love how that looks. I think that's really cool. You can see there's a tab at the top for it to go onto a hook, sort of as you would have in a retail environment. So I don't know if this is some indication that these pencils might make it to some retailer or retailers. That would be something new, certainly, in terms of Musgrave's marketing. And at the top, you'll see it says Quality Eraser. That's interesting. I will be anxious to see what that really means, or if it's just a marketing thing, and if Musgrave is using the same old eraser they've been using for a long time, which is not always great, but we'll see. Continuing on the front here, you can see that it has the 12. There's a dozen pencils in this package, and the 12 is in a hex shape, indicating the shape of the pencil. Unsharpened number 2 pencils, premium wood. This is not cedar. They would certainly say so if it was. Then you have another little note there, smooth writing with an arrow pointing towards the point of the lead. And you know, you have the two red stripes going horizontally across the front of the package, which is a nice tie-in to the ferrule. If you'll notice on the image of the pencil there, it has a red stripe around the ferrule, which actually is sort of, I think it's the same ferrule as the Harvest. We'll check. And then at the bottom it says proudly family owned since 1916. And then you have an image there of looks like a guy from that period of time with that cap and sleeves rolled up, and he's in the plant working on a machine making pencils. And that image of the guy in the factory reappears on a bonus that you get when you order these pencils, or at least at the time that I ordered them, which is a pink eraser. And we'll take a look at that as we go. Now, here's an image of the rear of the package. I'm sorry I didn't have something a little bit better. Again, off the website. But what I really like about the back of the packaging here is Musgrave actually put a nice illustration with some language about how a pencil is made. And I think that's really cool, because most people who use pencils don't give any thought to how they are actually manufactured. And so I think it's really neat to see through this series of 6 illustrations sort of the stages of pencil manufacturing: glue, shaping, painting, imprinting, tipping, and then quality control. So that's really nice. I like that they put that on there. And then underneath that, you see you've got the Musgrave, sort of their company seal, I guess it is, with their logo. And then a little paragraph about these pencils were made in Shelbyville, Tennessee, from domestically and globally sourced components. For more information about our manufacturing capabilities, new products, and our history, visit musgravepencil.com. They do have a good website, lots of good stuff there. See, it has the Pencil Makers Association PMA seal. There's that UPC code, which in a retail environment you would have to have on the packaging. And there it is for the pencil. And then please recycle this box. So I didn't get one of these packages, unfortunately, because I bought the bulk 72 6-dozen pencil rather than just the 12, but there's the box. Now let's take a look at the pencil. I'm gonna try this yellow special out here. I'm gonna use my Rodea pad. People often ask me about the paper I write on, and I use a lot of different paper. This is one of my favorites. I use this pad very often when I do pencil reviews. I love the weight. It's a high-grade vellum. Made in France. As a matter of fact, made in France. I got this in Paris. I bought a few of these at the stationery store, and yeah, this is the grid pattern. I like it very much, and we're going to use it to take a look here, closer look anyways, at our yellow special. Sharpened beautifully. So in the electric pencil sharpener, by the way. Very nice. Nice writing pencil. Nice line. Whoop. And this. Guess we can call it a reissue. Coming a little closer here. Here's the yellow special. Here is the Ceres or Ceres. Here is the Musgrave Harvest Standard. Okay, not the Harvest Professional. That's a different pencil. Has a completely different core, and I think uses a different wood. So they are all the same color. The Harvest, Standard Harvest, and the Yellow Special looks like they share a ferrule, although the ferrule on this particular Harvest is a little goldish, brassy. This is a silver finish, but they have the brown, the dark brown, the reddish brown stripe. The Ceres just has the kind of a standard gold tone ferrule, but it looks to me that the paint color is pretty much the same. You can even see some similarities here with the imprint. Now, the Harvest has a gold foil imprint where it looks like the Yellow Special, and the Ceres just has a black imprint on the yellow, which offers a nice high contrast. I like how, you know, the font, the type on all of these are unique in their own way. I really do like the whole look of the Yellow Special. I think they did a great job. But to me, these are all available from Musgrave, and how do they differ? So let's just do. I'm getting a little glare here. Let's just do this. Okay. Well, there are some subtle differences, but not anything dramatic, if I'm being honest. The tonality of the graphite is similar. If someone told me that they use the same graphite in all three of these pencils, I'd be like, yeah, okay. It'd be believable. They really are similar, very similar. And so I don't know that the Yellow Special is particularly unique among pencils that Musgrave offers. So I guess what I would say to that also would be, let me use this analogy because I have lived my life in Detroit, the Motor City, and let me make a General Motors analogy, as weird as that may sound, to pencils, okay? I would say to Musgrave, thank you for the Yellow Special, but to me, GM started doing something really in the 70s and did it right through the 90s, where, and you particularly saw it in the 80s and 90s, where, you know what, all the cars were kind of the same. They might have had slightly different front ends, back ends, lights, grills, whatever. But, okay, Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile. Underneath, they are all the same thing. And so, I kind of, and as we know now, that a lot of those car divisions went away because essentially General Motors was competing with itself because it was making a lot of the same cars and just badging them as Buicks or Oldsmobiles or Pontiacs or whatever, but they really weren't different. And so I would say to Musgrave, love the Yellow Special, and thank you for putting it out. Would love some pencils, too, that are truly unique and not like anything else you make. I think this was sort of what the Pencil King, to me, why I was so excited about the Pencil King, or the Tennessee Red pencil as well. You know, it was different than other offerings in the Musgrave line. And so the Yellow Special, while yeah, it's different because it has a different name, it's also not really different in terms of how the pencil performs and what the pencil is. The graphite seems to be pretty much just like others. So I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. Again, I'm liking it so far, but the other pencil that, frankly, I think the Yellow Special needs to compete against, as well as these other two, is this one here. I mean, just putting it next to the Ticonderoga, it's just a standard issue Ticonderoga here. Yes, it is a different color. There's obvious differences with the ferrule. The Ticonderoga has a softer hex, but let's just do a side-by-side, because if the market here for the Yellow Special is school pencil, well, it seems to me, for better or worse, the Ticonderoga is sort of the quintessential school pencil. They're pretty similar. I think the point's a little bit more worn on my Yellow Special, and I have a finer point on the Ticonderoga, so you see a little bit of a wider line here. This Ticonderoga, I think, is one that was made in China. So, China or India, I'm not sure. I think it might be a Chinese Ticonderoga. So, anyways, there's the difference. I think, honestly, they're both similar. I'm interested, though, to see, because the package did note that it had a quality eraser. So let's see. Let me try the Ceres. Okay, the same. I think that this is the eraser that Musgrave just uses generally on its other pencils, and it is okay. Let's try the eraser on the Ticonderoga. Yeah, it is similarly just okay. But if we want to try some of our old standbys, like a Pentel, how about a Mars Plastic? How about a Pink Pearl? Yeah, any of these are better than the attached eraser on the Yellow Special. So, in terms of the Yellow Special's erasability, we'll give it a B plus if you're using a good block eraser. The attached eraser, yeah, it's fine for a small correction, but if you gotta lift an entire word or more off the page, it's gonna shadow like that. And speaking of erasers, let's talk about these which were included in my shipment as sort of a premium little bonus. The Yellow Special number 2 pink erasers. I got 3 of them. I don't know if you get 3 with any sized order, but with my order of the box of 72 pencils, I got 3. And look here, you've got on one side of the eraser, you've got the Yellow Special number 2, and then on the back side of the eraser, you have that wonderful graphic of the man at the machine in the factory making pencils. And Musgrave has offered erasers on their website for a while, and white ones, which I have reviewed here. I don't recall there being pink erasers available, and I did not see these erasers available just on their own, but only with the order of the Yellow Special. So let's just give a try. Should also do a smudge test here. There's a bit of a drag. So this is the Yellow Special eraser. Pretty good. I mean, better than, again, this area here is the attached eraser. So this yellow one, or this pink one rather, actually does a decent job. I might ask Musgrave, how come you don't take this and make pencil erasers out of them, out of the same eraser material? I don't know if Musgrave is making these. I don't know that they make erasers or they're having them made, but put this on the end of the pencil. This one's better. I mean, thank you for sending them. I love getting a little freebie. So if you get the yellow special, you're going to have one of these great pink erasers to go with it, so you can actually do some decent erasing. But okay, so that's the yellow special, folks. Nice pencil overall. Really like it. I think there's some redundancy in other Musgrave products, but it's always exciting to have a new offering on the table. So thank you, Musgrave, for re-releasing this pencil. And I'm glad I got the box of 72 because I'm going to use these a lot. I like them. But again, if I had a critique, it would be they're not really dissimilar from other things I already have from Musgrave in yellow pencils. So, but I appreciate you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share, hit the like button, and I look forward to seeing you again soon on Always Analog.